What's going on, YouTube? What's happening? So I got a chance to watch the LeBron James, Steve Nash take about how they want the old heads to, you know, act like today's game is better than the 80s and the 90s. LeBron James then found 99 ways to Jimmy Jam the same song. Let me explain what I mean. All due respect to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who I think are one of the best songwriting production teams, but not the best in my opinion. But I like they stuff. A lot of their stuff sounded the same. You know, when you heard Tender Lover, it became Let's Wait a While. You know how you do 99 songs and they become one? You know the formula? That's what LeBron James does. He got a 99 way of saying the same thing, but always throwing diss. It wasn't that long ago he dissed Giannis, said Giannis would have scored 250 in the game in the 70s. Now he's taking on the 80s and the 90s, and they're saying the game is better than all this. You don't have no enforcers. You don't have guys that play a certain way. Let me tell you this. These two turkeys, who are great players, Hall of Fame, but overrated, overstated, LeBron James, you're not. You're 40, will almost be 41. You're not 21. You're sitting up here talking like you're the old timers. You've been in the league 2 decades. Steve Nash, you benefited from Mike D'Antoni's system, which is in part to today's system, but you still had that old system which put wood on your behind. You could not beat the Spurs. You could not play against a team that defended you. Remember when Kobe dunked on you and all you got was Jock, and you end up having to go join them and you were too old. You were not a top tier guard when Jason Kidd and Gary Payton and them were running things. You were not in that elite. You benefited from a great system. You benefited from a system that allowed more offensive maneuvering. Hey, guys be up here talking like they don't know. Listen, I never was the greatest fan of 90s basketball because I think after the halfway point, games got too slow in the scores. But they still played defense, and you still had some guys that were prolific, you know. But it was a different era. But the 80s is my favorite era. I think the 80s was my favorite. I get asked all the time, 80s basketball I like the best. Because everybody had identity. You still play physical. There wasn't no slowing the game down or one way. It was the funnest era. If I'm lying, rest in peace, Dr. Jerry Buss of the Lakers, because he when he let Phil Jackson go after 2010, he said he wanted speed. That's why he brought D'Antoni in. He wanted showtime. He did not like that slow down style of basketball. Respect to the triangle and all that. I like pace and speed. I did like the OOs for that. OOs brought me more life. The 90s had some moments, but I thought that it was more, even Michael Jordan and Dennis Rodman alluded that it watered down. The expansion and everything. And the competitiveness wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same. That's not taking anything away from people's accomplishments, but the game had started to water down. 80s basketball was a high benchmark. ABA in the 70s. I said ABA, NBA in the 80s, 60s, and I said the 90s, but I like the 90s better than what's going for basketball today because they actually played defense and you actually had to get stopped. It's the only reason. But having said all that, though, I don't like it when these two jive turkeys sit up there and try to downplay guys that played in the era where Steve Nash was never that dude. To people look at his MVPs with asterisks. He has a good IQ, but how did that turn out when you were the coach of the Brooklyn Nets? Didn't Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden treat you like that substitute teacher with duct tape on your glasses and you were cross-sided and you were wearing high water pants and you were lost? And they played you like you were dumb, and you went up to you and said, well, what do we do right now in this room? And they said, oh, we just take naps, and we eat and watch movies. And you just look out the window. That's what ended up happening to you. So I don't really want to hear from you. You're not head coach worthy. You can call this a hot tick if you want. As for LeBron James, well, if I could piggyback on everybody's all-star team, everybody's city, everywhere I could get everybody I want, if I could treat imagine going to work and you can have it your way and you're not working at Burger King, but you can really have it your way. You can pick who you want to work with, how you want to work with, the hours you want, who's going to be your manager, who's going to be. Imagine that. And bring your child in, even though it's not parent day or it's not, show what you do for work, but you can say, give them a job too. Get them a job over there. Put them in. Must be nice to have this delusion of grandeur and have this narcissist, not only be narcissist, but just be in a bully mode and just bragging mode. We know you're trying to get Nash a job. I don't know what plays, but he will get a job, unfortunately. He didn't show me nothing in Brooklyn because he got treated like a substitute teacher. And I told you what happened in Brooklyn. And he never recovered, and he was out of his jurisdiction. He had no business. He's a Hall of Famer, but I always have question marks and asterisks by Nash. I still think D'Antoni, they talk about a product. Yeah, he played good, but he was never that dude at point guard. So it's kind of like, But anyway, tired of hearing these turkeys trying to justify this crap that goes on for basketball because there's a lot of acting. Yes, you have great athleticism, but where are your teams? Yes, you have great plays and great highlight packages, but who are the teams? Who has identity? What's going to happen when the old guard eventually goes away and you're stuck with what you got? Now, we hope Boston and Cleveland is a real rivalry, and we hope OKC is a real rivalry, and maybe Denver. And we'll see what happens with Minnesota and Houston. We have some interesting stories, but the bottom line is it's not the top of the line basketball. People know it. It's selling analytics, it's selling merch, and it's selling highlight reels. It's hoping that you can say something. For all that hot air that they blow up, why is it when Anthony Edwards had that out of body peak moment? Oh, is he the next Jordan? Is he the next Kobe? Is he the next Dwayne Wade? They never say the first Anthony Edwards. Why is that? Because they're not buying what they're trying to sell. Or Jokic. Or is he better than Shaq? Is he better than Will? Is he up there with Russell and Kareem? Or is he up there with Hakeem? Is he with their Moses? Why are they doing that? Because they know that they can't buy what they're trying to sell. They're trying to sell you on stuff they don't really believe in, but they're hoping that they can mess with your head. That's what Luka Doncic is, Baby Bird. And it's funny how they dig up the old relics and the garbage crew and the cable man and the milkman and the door-to-door Avon selling merch and stuff. That's but that they tell you. But who do they compare people to? Make it make sense. They tell you that the plumber, Clyde Drexler was a plumber and Dominique Wilkins was a roof builder and all that. Who are they compared to people to? I don't see them comparing anybody to Amari Stoudemire. I don't hear them say, "Oh, you're the next Paul Pierce." I'm looking. Everybody they acknowledge is from what? 80s, 90s, 70s, 60s. Why is that? Why is that the golden era? You want respect, you got to earn it. You got to earn it. You're so busy throwing numbers out that you thinking everybody is this and that and the other, but deep down it ain't. That's the lie Adam Silver and them been pimping. And that's why they these podcasts and LeBron sitting there like he Ice Cube and he's going to put the white sidekick in the passenger side like the latest, hottest comedian. You see what's going on here. I guess who is next that we can dig up that we remember that he might put in the car in the passenger side? Who? We done J.J. Redick. We done Steve Nash. Who could be the next one? Who would it be? Would it be Lawrence Frank? Let me go do some looking because that's what the plot is. It's the people that you got to kind of scratch your head, say, maybe I can look out for you. Maybe you had a decent career. Let me see if I can put you and get you a hookup. This is what they're doing. And it is pretty bad. But people in the know that this is jive. And all they're doing is duct tape. It's just like the same turkeys that's going to have you thinking that Usher and Chris Brown are the second coming of Michael Jackson and Beyonce is too. They trying hard to make you the watered down with all these stats that they put in. Now Drake saw all these stats. Kendrick Lamar saw all these stats. Kanye some kind of great producer. Jay-Z was some kind of great artist. All these awards they give these people. Like, oh, you ain't seen nothing like that before. But who are you always compared to? You're compared to the standards. And what do you not have? You don't have any standards. That's the reality. Yeah, you got people that stand out, but you ain't got the ones that we're going to talk about 30, 40 years from now. That's the manipulative make-believe they're trying to sell you on. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. Hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.